Okay, Shalom. I want to give all the praise, all the honor, and all the glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim, Rakahak Wadash. Double honor to the elders of Great Millstone who taught us this truth. A sincere Shalom Lavakarium, Shah Yasha Allah, that's peace to the elect of the nation of Israel. Now, what you're witnessing going down on planet Earth is a dividing of two worlds. You have the Edomites, who's currently ruling under these poor conditions. And you have Jacob. Jacob became the father of the 12 sons, who became the 12 nations or the 12 tribes of Israel. There was a promise kept to, spoken to Abraham about, he should be a father of many nations, and nations became a company of nations, which became the 12 tribes of Israel. And they were set to rule the kingdom to come. And America is not the kingdom. Esau is not the kingdom. This is not the kingdom of heaven spoken about in Genesis. That kingdom that was, let's get to it real quick. We're gonna get into this video here. Very, very good video by this woman here. I forget her name. But you're gonna hear a statement she makes, because it's all about the elites, and the elites are moving because of this birthright, because of what happened between Esau and Jacob. So they're trying to create their own reality. They're trying to force a situation. This is Genesis 27. I'm going to start from verse 27. This is when Isaac was given the blessings. Now, prior to this, chapter 25, Esau, he gave up the birthright, which is the right to everything as being the firstborn, because he was never the right owner, even though he came out first. And Esau, that is physically our big brother, because he came out first, but spiritually he never had the right to the ownership of the kingdom of heaven. That was given to our forefather Jacob. So he gave it up for a morsel of meat, for red pottage. Now when you jump to the 27th chapter, when the blessings, because the birthright comes with blessings. Now Esau didn't want to wait for the birthright in the future, but he wanted the immediate blessings. And this is where he gets mad. And this is where the elites, the top bankers, this is where they're mad. Because all Esau ever wanted, is a fast-paced society. And he looked at the blessings as something immediate. He didn't connect it to, he didn't connect it to the birthright. Else he would have been patient. And he would have been thinking about his children's children, like Jacob was. But no, he was hasty. And that's the spirit of an Edomite. And that's the spirit you're in when you're outside of this truth. You're hasty, everything is fast-paced now. No consideration for the future. So he made a big mistake. And the elites today, the top bankers, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Gettys, and DuPont stay in trouble from those forever chemicals. But they know about this story, and they know the reality of them ruling. It's only because Isaac gave Esau a blessing with the sword, and it was limited. And these elites know that their world is ending, so they're trying to alter reality, which means they're trying to stop prophecy, and they're trying to create their own future, which can't happen. Because one thing you're going to find out about Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, matter of fact, let me get this before I go to Genesis 27. The Lord works through men. So when you see men moving, you see the Lord moving. That's basically it. And that even boils down to us. You see us moving, doing these videos, like this video here. I didn't intend on doing this video. I had my mind on the UFOs, the 20 UFOs that showed up, by the moon, and they're still there. And they said these UFOs are 15 to 30 feet in length. No. I'm bugging. They said it was how many miles? I think it was 15 to 30. They're large. Some of them is as large as Manhattan. Just put it like that. So these are major size UFOs by the moon, and it's story after story picking up on them. That's what I wanted to go over, but the spirit switch had me go over this. Would show we're all controlled. We're all controlled, even the elites. So this is Proverbs 21 verse 1. The king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh. So all the rulers, all the kings, since the world started moving, since you started breathing air, you've been controlled by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, predestined. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So there's no free will. NLT. The king's heart, which is your mind, is like a stream of water directed by Yahweh. So our hearts, our minds is directed. You may have something you want to do, then the Lord say, hey, no, it's something I want to do with you. I'm going to use you to do it. Let me just get this word, directive. And then it says to guide. So the Lord guides us to manage, to regulate, to carefully direct a program. And we are in the program. This is one big simulation here. It's under Esau's authority, but it's still the Most High's program. Yahweh and his son Yahushua's program. And now the programming is over. That's why everything is falling apart. It says point, aim, or sent towards a place or object. So you get it. The Lord is guiding, and it tells you in let me just get this here. About the Lord guiding everything. So don't fret when you thinking, oh, the elites ain't got it together. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua got it together. He's working through these bankers, these top rulers, whatever you want to call them, Illuminati, whatever name you put on it. We know them as the elite Edomites. Their biblical name, Bozrah, Idumea, Edom. The Lord is using Edom. This is Sirach 18 verse 3. Who governeth the what? Matter of fact, let me start from verse 1. He that liveth forever created all things in general, and that's Yahweh and his son Yahushua. Yahweh only is right, and there is none other but he. Well, there goes your statement, for you small hats that you can fix creation and alter the process of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. You can't do that. The Lord stands alone. Everything was created perfect. Even y'all in your wickedness. The Lord created perfect, wicked human beings. Who governeth, see that, the world with the palm of his hand. So the Lord is, and when you govern, you control. That's where they get the word government from. Govern is the guide, control, and mint is your mind. So government goes back to controlled mind or mind control. So it says, who governeth the world with the palm of his hand, and all things obey his will. So you're going to do what Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua wants you to do. There is a way that seemeth right unto man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. And the Lord tells you in the book of Job how he changes your path when you fall asleep. That's dangerous. Because everybody got to fall asleep. Even the elites go to sleep, man. They can't stay up like the demons do, like the angels do. They eventually, all humanity eventually doze off and fall asleep. And that's when the Lord started working. Big time working. So it says, in all things obey his will, for he is the king of all. By his power, dividing holy things among them from profane. So this kingdom being separated, and that's why Jacob starting with the elect of Jacob, of the sons of the 12 tribes of Israel, is separating from Esau right now, because the kingdom is switching. Esau's kingdom is falling and Jacob's kingdom is rising, which is the separation. The holy from the profane. The holy, is getting stronger and stronger every day, and the profane is getting weaker and weaker. And you don't even know how to stop this thing. Ain't no stopping this. Ain't no stopping this, man. So once again, it says, Proverbs 21 verse 1 NLT, the king's heart, or his mind, is like a stream of water directed by Yahweh. He guides it whithersoever he pleases. So the Lord is running the show. So I had to get that out first so you know who's running this show. It ain't the white man, and we don't care about your new world order. The Lord gave you the ideas of a new world. The Lord gave you everything, and he's taking everything back. But this lady gonna make a statement, especially about the strait and some other heavy statements, to show you that Esau's kingdom, his world, is over. It's done. So we getting off plantation right now. We getting off work. We looking around at the people. You see the people. People, they bug the hell out, right? We see the people. They don't know what's going on for tomorrow. But here we go. We got the hope. We got the understanding. The Lord has blessed us with the understanding of these scriptures. Look at that understanding that the Lord allowed me to feed the sheep right there, about how he governs the world and controls the minds of the kings and of everybody. That's heavy understanding. These people don't have that. They think they doing what they want to do, but you're not. So the Lord has blessed us on a major level, Akim. You got to be grateful every day to see what we see in the know and to understand why this man is falling, this kingdom is falling, so our kingdom can come in.
To $7 trillion a year of expenses and $4 trillion of revenues. So they have a deficit of $2 to $3 trillion a year, and the debt is skyrocketing. So they don't have agency. And, there's all sorts of questions about how exactly they get their orders and how it works. But, they are functioning in a world where they don't have control. And it's clear that the president is basically doing what he's told. And the question is, who's telling him and how does that message get delivered? So you kind of have this show in front where a group of people look and act like they're running things, but it looks discombobulated because they're constantly saying one thing and doing another and whatever. And then behind it, you have a group of people who, in my experience, are pretty competent and are making it clear, this is how we're going to go. And some people refer to that as deep state. I usually refer to that as the central bankers. The system wants to implement a control grid, and it can't do it without cutting off the leakage. And I suspect that's a big part of what is happening is about. The U.S. government spends, for many decades now, $500 billion to $1 trillion a year. So our military budget is $1 trillion a year. If you're running a global reserve currency, there's one thing you must do if you're the military, and that is you must keep the sea lanes open and you must control the sea lanes.
I'll give you the day off if you can prove to me you know your finances.
Absolutely, I'll do that.
How many subscriptions are you paying for?
We shut down the Straits of Hormuz. Initially, it was the City of London that shut it down. It was Lloyd's. Lloyd's pulled the insurance.
You hear that? Lloyd's Insurance. All these bankers control these insurance companies, which are small hats. They control the slave ships, the whole triangle slave trade. These Edomites was behind all this. And they run behind. When you look up some of these 200, 300 year insurance companies, You know, they all ran by the bankers. And, you know, that's how they get that compound entrance. But nevertheless, as you can hear, you know, the city, and London is a city-state. You got 3 city-states that's not under any jurisdiction. You get, one is Washington, D.C. You got the Vatican, and you have London, which is the 3 frogs you read about in Revelations. You know, and that's every, you know, facet of Esau. You got the muscle, which is Washington. You got the witchcraft coming out of the Vatican, and you got the money system coming out of London. So they control that pipeline, and the Spirit has showed us why. Why are they look from the outside? You think they're destroying themselves? No, they're bringing in the digital system. They're bringing in a whole new system. So to do that, you got to get rid of the old system. Even if it looked like we're fighting, which they are really divided. They are really fighting for resources and control. You know, Ishmael want to be at the top. They want some say-so in this new world. You know, so they are fighting, but overall, they have one common goal. So they all are down with this mark of the beast system and putting the whole world into this digital prison. So the Lord has showed us that. That's why I tell you, man, look, we're in a very beautiful position, because they're not going to win. They're gonna lose. We know they're going to lose. They're going to lose, and they're going to lose big, and they're not going to be small. They're going to end up in the trap they are set. They're going to end up in chains, man. This is Isaiah 42. Let me do something here. This is Isaiah 42 and 8 AMP. I am Yahweh, that is my name. My glory will I not give unto another, nor my praise to carved idols. Indeed, the former things have come to pass. Now I declare new things. Before they spring forth, I proclaim them to you. This is the G&T. The things I predicted have now come true. Now I will tell you of new things even before they begin to happen. And that's what the Lord has done. He's revealed these secrets, which are these prophecies, the new things, you know, like the digital system. We know about the mark of the beast. We know how far this man gets with it. You know, we know who he actually chips. We know who take it, who don't take it. The elect don't take it. The chosen, the Labacarium, they don't take it. They fight with their faith. The Lord has showed us all this. This is Amos 3, verse 7. Surely Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. So we got these secrets, which are mysteries. And when you have a mystery, that's not to be publicized. Okay, you don't get on a broad top, housetop, and tell all your business, even though you have the men of the Lord on the corner and in the markets, in the highways and byways, but the angel is keeping the dead sleep. So it's like we not even there. You know, it's like they don't even see these videos. So that's a beautiful thing. You know, and those that's supposed to hear these secrets, get these mysteries, get these prophecies before they come to pass, are the elect, and they wake up to it. So when you see the system switching and you're hearing back office information, like she just said, you know, Washington, D.C. is not running anything. Trump is not running anything. It's the bankers. The bankers shut the Strait down. the city-state of London shut the Strait down. And you see, America spend $1 trillion a year on the military, and you mean tell me you can't stop Iran? So who's behind the guns? The guns and butter, baby. Who's behind that? The elites, man. And who's behind the elites? Who's governing them? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Because the Lord is basically crashing the system. But the Lord is going this way for a reason, because he put it in their mind about a whole new world, which is a digital system. And this is where the Lord is going to come and get them, man. So look, we are right. You'll get a little more of this video too. We are right on track according to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. This is warning to the rich. This is to you elites. Go now, you rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come. Oh, it's about to get bad for you Edomites, man. It's about to get bad. That's why the UFOs in the air. That's why you hiding in your bunkers, shaking, because it's about to get bad. The same scripture, AMP, James 5:1. It says, "Come quickly now, you rich." And we talking about you, Psalm 73. You fat cats. You have more than heart's desire. These elites have more than hearts. They already got control and a tracking system on us. It's called your social security number. Now they want more. They want your soul. They want to read your thoughts. They want to dictate your mind. They want you controlled by robots. This is a madman, and he must be stopped, and he will be stopped. So it says, who lack true faith and hoard and misuse your resources. Weep and howl over your miseries and woes and judgments that are coming upon you. And this is coming for y'all, for you elites, you bankers, man, you Edomites. Now you 2/3 going to be caught up in this, because you got to be wiped out, because you're dead. You heathen that's over here, you're going to be wiped out because you're dead. The only people that make it out of North America is the Lord's elect. And you're going up in this ship. You're going in the UFOs, man. And the ships are all around the moon right now. There's major reports about them ships. Maybe I'll play a little bit of that Dabu 7. So the reinforcements is here. The Lord of Sabaoth, the Lord of War. And those UFOs, that's a military from the fourth dimension that can't be touched. And ain't never been touched. So you Edomites ain't going to be able to do a thing when these UFOs descend upon this place real soon. So it says, the woes, the judgments that are coming upon you. Your wealth has rotten and is ruined, and your fine clothes have become moth-eaten. Your gold and your silver are corroded, and their corrosion will be a witness against you, and will consume your flesh like fire. You have stored up your treasures in the last days, when it will do you no good. And somebody tell this devil. You know, they put out last year, they was going into Fort Knox, where they supposed to keep the gold. They got another heavy vault out here in New York City. Then I think Fort Knox is in Colorado. They ain't even go in there, because wasn't no gold in there. Ain't no gold in there. But the elites, the city-state of London, they got the vaults. They got the bars. And they got them stashed like they going to hold on to that when Yahweh shall crack these clouds. No. We taking all that. That's our gold. We on punishment right now, but the Lord has relieved us. That goes back to the birthright, which we going to go back into. That goes back into them blessings, man. The birthright, those blessings. You know, we about to rule the world. We about to have all substance. You Edomites won't touch a gold nugget again real soon. So it says your gold and your silver are corroded, and corrosion will be a witness against you, and will consume your flesh like fire. You have stored up treasures in the last days, when it will do you no good. Look, the wages that you have fraudulently withheld from the laborers who have mowed your fields and cried out against you for vengeance. And the cries of the harvest have come to the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth, the Lord of War. On the earth you have lived luxuriously and abandoned yourself to soft living, and led a life of wanton pleasure, self-indulgence, self-gratification. You have fattened your hearts in the day of slaughter. You have condemned and have put to death the righteous man. He offers you no resistance, because we are in your hand. You got us trapped in these adhesive contracts. Jake don't know what to do. There's no way to get around your court system, your banks, your creditors. If you want a car, you got to go get a loan. You want a house, you got to get a loan. There's no way around you. You destroyed the farms. Man don't know what he here to do on planet Earth. And this is what you rich, you corrupt Edomites at the top have done. And now the Lord is he's bringing this kingdom down. You elite Edomites low. You're gonna be in chains real soon. He bringing us, Jacob, up to the top under our Lord Yahushua, which goes back, to the birthright back here in Genesis. Okay, because this is what it's all about. At least you're trying to get rid of this old system and bring in a new system. Like it's going to offset prophecy, but hey, that ain't going to happen. The Lord is just laughing at that. That ain't going to happen, man. Somebody should have told. Some of your witches and warlocks are not being honest with you Edomites, man. Because that's not going to happen. This is Genesis 27, verse 28. Let me start from verse 27. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his remnant, and blessed him, and said, see, the smell of my son as the smell of the field which the Lord hath blessed. So Jacob had on Esau's clothes, because this was all set up in the spirit that Jacob will come in and basically Jacob's name means supplanter, which is the switch. So there was a switch going on. And the Lord had it done this way to where Jacob put on Esau's remnant, and Isaac, his eyes was dim. He was in old age, and he thought he was giving the blessing to Esau, but instead he was blessing Jacob, because that's how the Lord wrote the story. Therefore, Yahweh give thee of the dew of heaven. It's all the blessings that's coming to us. And the fatness of the earth, which includes the gold, and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee. And who's the main servant? You Edomites. Say the elders should serve the younger in the previous before chapter. One will be stronger than another. We're stronger than you Edomites. We spiritually stronger. We physically stronger. We're mentally stronger. Look at what we had to go through for over 400 years under your rule and authority, and we're still here. We're still here. So it says, let people serve them. So people will serve us real soon. The nation and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren. See? Jacob is the end of the world, and Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. All our brethren, in Esau, you are our brother. And you will be bowing down real soon. And let thy mother's son bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. And it shall come to pass, and it came to pass, as soon as Jacob had made an end of Isaac, Salakia, had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from hunting. And when you read the rest of the story, Esau wept, and then Isaac gave him a sword that he would use. And his sword is about to be used. Which of these bombs? This money digital system is part of his sword. So his lies are part of the sword. But what's happening now is that now the kingdom that you was given through Isaac, who's Yahushua, if you can receive it, is now collapsing. Okay? So one kingdom is on the incline and another kingdom is on the decline.
shut down the straits, not the Iranians, right? And now you have $1 trillion a year military saying that they're helpless to keep the straits open. Do you believe that? So the Iranians have been under severe sanctions for decades. And what we're saying is a country of 92 million with a tiny military budget under severe sanctions controls the straits, and the American empire with $1 trillion a year is helpless to do it. But let's look at the global chessboard. The Americans tried to put on tariffs for everybody. The Supreme Court has said, no, you can't do that. But there's another way to put everybody over the barrel. Remember, the Americans have worked very hard to make sure they're energy self-sufficient, and they have stockpiles of a lot of things they need, okay? They just put the world into energy collapse and famine conditions, by doing this. So now they got everybody over a barrel. And they're relatively, it's what one of the economic spokesperson for the White House, he said, American economy is going to be fine. He said the consumer is going to be hurt, but the economy will be fine. Because in fact, the billionaires should be fine. Because what you're talking about doing is creating the conditions for massive consolidation upwards. I mean, you can shut down every small business and small farm in the world and consolidate upward, because if you've got the reserve currency, and you can do what you did to do during COVID. We bankrupted or shut down 35% of the small business and God knows how many of the small farms. And the publicly traded Wall Street firms had a field day. They made a fortune, right? So it was successful. And if you think that's successful, where do you see this? Because for the last year, the administration has cut down massive amounts of there are all these different programs to provide funding for the food insecure, both domestically and internationally. They've canceled, I think, most, if not all of that. I mean, now you're talking about serious famine conditions globally if this continues. Because if you look at the ingredients coming through for the fertilizer plants, including in Europe, and then look at everything we've done in Europe to shut down the small farmer. I mean, you are creating the conditions of famine. It's criminal. Programmable money and food are two sides of one coin. If everybody can grow food and eat, and they have food and energy, they can make community currencies. They don't need my money. I got to control the energy and the food if I'm going to get programmable money, if I'm going to put everybody in the digital concentration camp. We are very close in there.
Right there. The digital concentration camp, the switch. This was it's all about. Because you depend on, the supermarket. You depend on your water system. And if you have control of the food and water, you control everything. You can't eat your damn dollars, okay? So if you gotta start a new bartering system where you have total control now. And that's going into the mark of the beast, the MOTB, the digital all, the mark you read about in Revelations. Because this is basically what's happening. The way we live in, the way you shopping, the way you going to food shop this week, to pay for your gas. This is called the old world in their circle. And they got an agenda of 2030, and Esau is dragging his feet. Because he know once he start the push for this new world, because there's nowhere in the scriptures but over here. And these are end of day prophecies right here, Revelation 13. The two beasts, man. Once he go ahead and make this move and make this switch, then Yahweh Bashem Yahushua going to push real hard, and the kingdom of heaven will be here within months, man. This is Revelations 13 and 16. He calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bound, to receive a mark. This word in the Greek is charagma. Okay? In their right hand and in their forehead, which is the digital device. And that no man might buy or sell. That means through any shopping, eating, gas, oil, you doing invoices. I don't care. You a barber. Ain't gonna be no more begging on the street unless you can get money from your chip into the homeless person's chip. And then when you do get some what they call under the table money, Esau gonna tax that from the door. They might even come and just lock your ass up. Cause that'll be deemed illegal. Crime will go down, all kind of shit, man. Cause everything will be controlled. Prisoners, everything will be controlled. And they can turn this device off and on at their will. They can fill it up with money, or they can take money from you. Total control. So it says that no man might buy or sell, see? You can't buy or sell except or save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And this is the system that they're setting up or that's already set up. They just need the right crisis to push it. Because basically what they doing now is just bragging. They just showing off. Like, look at what we got. They just showing their teeth, flexing their fangs. Right? You know, that's what they doing. But this will be pushed, and it's gonna seem like it popped up out of nowhere, but it didn't. It's been gradually going on since right after 9/11. They've been pushing really hard. But now we at the end. Now we at the end of Esau's world. So all is coming out now.
So it's scary. And it's interesting because we were working with different states to legislate programmable money. And our challenge was literally the legislators couldn't fathom that this was a possibility. The market is issuing this stuff at record speed. And if I'm building a 1,000-mile highway and I've got 200 miles now, you put up the guardrails now because people are getting killed now. So you can't wait. And especially because what we're talking about are fundamental constitutional or basic law rights. I mean, if you look at basic human rights in Europe or the United States, we're just talking about putting guardrails that protect those things. And that doesn't stop any financial innovation. It just stops the digital control grid. Remember, every stable coin is going to be programmable. And so it gives you complete surveillance of all the citizens globally if it works. And you can start to fiddle and control them. So what you're going to watch is the U.S. government, so it's going to be the big banks are going to be in the lead on this, and a variety of crypto firms use the crypto rails to tender for as many citizens as they can reach through the smartphones and the internet as possible and get them off their local currency and out of their local banking system and into the treasury market through using the equivalent of a little crypto treasury bill to trade, right? Because if I'm putting money in my local bank in Estonia, the bank's making loans and facilitating with credit creation, building the monetary supply. It's through that credit creation that you create. And if you've ever studied Richard Warner's book, he explains how really good local banks, through their credit creation of, properly underwritten companies creates massive growth without inflation. And instead, what you're going to do is you're going to suck all the money out of that and into financing the war machine. What a great idea. Now, we don't know if this is going to succeed or fail, but if it succeeds from the point of view of the Secretary of Treasury, it's going to decimate the tax base everywhere in the world that it works. You're talking about a mammoth shift into centralization.
I'm a nurse with stage 3 kidney disease.
And we had
I
to
tried
tell
everything. Here's what actually worked. I've been a nurse for 38.
Because instead of
this won't work. I mean, they're going to get it off to where the chaos is going to start, because the only way to push this properly is to have chaos. To where people don't trust the banking system anymore. People don't trust their current government. And they're going to need something new, a savior, a new savior, because people look at the government as a god, and these politicians and these presidents are saviors. So they're going to need a new savior so they can continue to worship their god, which is the beast system. But they're going to need chaos. They're going to need total chaos. That's why war is starting. That's why the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahshua is using the minds of the elite bankers to push this thing like this, man. So we inching closer and closer to the end. So we not worrying about it. We sitting back and we just praying the Lord keep us where we at, keep us in the faith, keep us strong, because this thing is happening, and these people about to lose big. Those who have their faith in society, in this current system, in these Edomites, you about to lose big, man. I know losing is losing, right? But you are about to lose big. This is Psalms 37 verse 12 NLT. The wicked plotteth against the godly, and these are plots. These are schemes, man. They got plots for me, my family, you, your family, and it ain't nice. 15-minute cities. You told where to go, when to come, how to have sex. You need permission to produce kids. I mean, this place, they got a mess set up for their own. They don't give a hell about you damn low-level Edomites working at the job, thinking you cool with your Range Rover and your liability you call a house. They don't care about you. You're a digital slave too. You have a social security number too. You got to get a paycheck too. You're going to have to get a digital device in your skin too. You think your government love you because they call you white. White man, yeah, right. But he going to show you how white you are. And you ain't white. Your skin is red. And we're not black with different shades of brown. More corporate lies by the bankers. So it says the wicked plotteth against the godly. And the only godly right now is the Lord's elect. They snarl at them in defiance. But Yahweh just laughs. For he sees their day of judgment is coming. And they don't even know it. They so blind. They don't see the UFOs everywhere. The minute of the Lord, we got your number. We read in your destiny. We even telling you the moves you making before you make them. You think that's a coincidence that we know so much about you? We know everything about you, E. We know what's going to happen next for us if we stay. We know what's going to happen next for us if we get weak. Only thing we don't have is dates. You know, we don't have a time slot. You know, but we weighing now, we measuring the time diligently in itself, man. We're not playing around with this. So when we tell you you're going to lose and you're going to lose big, we mean it because thus saith the Lord. Let me hear a little bit more of this. Oh, Salaki. You know what? Salakia, let me, smart eye real quick. Oh, damn. Hey, Salawat, you can hear me? No, I'm finishing up this video right now. I just had to click off to answer the phone, and this dumb radio keep coming on. Yeah, I'm about to end out right now, though. I'm gonna hit you right back. All right, Shalom. And Salakia for that. You know, I should have had it on Do Not Disturb, but it was just my Octam Yad. I'm gonna call him back in a minute. All right, so we gonna finish this out. So you devils, man, you're at the end of your rope. Yeah, you know, but I do want to play this this last video. And these scientists, and this was coming out of Ukraine. You know, they said the scientists in Ukraine caught this here. You know, this is to show you what's happening over your head. And they talking about Elon Musk, one of his rockets crashed into the moon. They purposely want to crash rockets into the moon, man. You know what kind of devil we dealing with? So they said today also, in the midst of 20 Manhattan-sized UFOs being hovering around the moon, that Elon Musk crashed a rocket, one of his rockets, into the moon and created a crater, which I don't believe. You know, it's allegedly, because there's no film. You know, just pictures that they doctored up. You know, but let me get this right over here. This is Dabu 7. Then we gonna end it. It's Dabu 7 here.
Say that they've been studying the moon and they claim to have captured possible evidence, they say, of a technologically advanced non-human civilization. Scientists at Ukraine's main astronomical observatory, which is situated right around Kiev, they say that they had spotted more than 20 unidentified objects moving near or across the moon over several months. Some of the disc-shaped objects were estimated to measure between 15 and 25 miles across. This new study that they put out here shows that there's two categories. They state atmospheric objects that appear stationary and continental objects that appear to move across the surface of the moon. The objects also appear to display unusual changes in brightness and rotation. They state that they used this high-speed camera that snapped 20 images every second, allowing the scientists to track these objects that would have otherwise been nearly impossible to see. They say these UFOs were so faint that some appeared as nothing more than a 2x2 pixel against the moon. But they say that they're not behaving randomly. Some of the ones labeled atmospheric appear to be locked in where they're at with the moon. They're moving in sync with the moon, almost like they're anchored down at the bottom and tethered.
This thing going
almost
down.
Like you would see an aerostat or something down at the border. But they go on to say that they have also picked up evidence here that the study shows two objects were shown to be hundreds of miles apart and they were flashing in unison. So you have all of these things popping off with the moon. The size of this is all going to vary depending on what it's made of, but they're stating something is up there. And, well, what timing here? With everything going on with disclosure, or lack of, should I say, because they keep dropping the small stuff and nothing major has come of it, so to speak. You can say it's pretty big when they show you they've shot down UFOs, UAPs with Hellfire missiles. They've showed us that. But the people are so docile, they don't seem to care. And I don't think they're going to care until they see a real life entity.
Yeah, and an invasion. You're going to see, although Yahushua Esau did not shoot down, that Hellfire missile went through the UFO and it didn't even phase it. We saw the image. Actually, it looked like it kind of bounced off it. You know? Then what about the ones when the UFO disarmed your rocket? Come on, man. You Edomites are no competition for what's about to happen. The Lord is about to take this place down. I'm going to end it over here. You Edomites, man, you just lies after lies. You know? But anyway, the UFOs is part of the ending of this kingdom. That's why with everything happening, the UFO activity is picking up. This is Revelation 6:1. It says, and I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard as it were the noise of thunder, one of the four beasts saying, come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse. See, this is that ship our Lord is coming on. That horse, that white represents purity, undefiled. That horse represents power. And he that sat on him, or that was controlling it, had a bow, which are the lasers from the ship. And a crown was given unto him, and he went forth, conquering and to conquer. He rode out to win many battles and gain the victory, man. That's NLT right there. So the Lord is about to win this battle for the elect who's sitting back. We cheering. We cheering for our Lamb. We cheering for Yahushua. Victory is won, but the Lord is about to come and physically take this man down, you know, and establish righteousness in the earth. All this is about to be done away with, but it's going to be redone. We about to be gods again through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. So this is a very exciting time, man. Bless Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua for your eye salve, your understanding, your belief system, which is your faith is a gift. Hold tight, because it's going down, giving all the praise, all the honor, and all the glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Rachah HaKodash. Double honor to the elders of Great Millstone who told us this truth. A sincere shalom, labakarium, shal yash Allah. That's peace to the elect of the nation Israel. Time is short.